All right, guys, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? This is Johnny. It is Monday, March 23rd, 10 a.m. It's a new week. We got a lot to talk about. Like always, on our Monday morning live streams, what we're going to do today is recap the weekend that was. We're going to talk about our wins. We're going to talk about our losses. We've been on, the streak continues. We've been, super grateful. Our hard work has been paying off since January. If you go back to our first live stream of the new year, January 1st, we talked about our goal going into 2026 was adding value. And it's exactly what we're doing. It's really a team effort. The Discord's growing, the channel's growing, the Patreon's growing. JSB Insiders, our group, we're getting tweeted about. People are sharing our content on platforms that we don't even have. And so I know we're up to something. We're approaching 450 JSB Insiders in our Discord. This is a community, and I think over time, if you watched our group grow since August, if you were part of the ground floor and you're still there, you would have noticed how it's maturing. And this was always my mission, was to create a space of like-minded boxing fans that we could talk about our sport, research the sport, debate the sport, and do it in an educated manner. There's been some growing pains. We've had to kick people out, we've had to silence people, but over time, I mean, week in and week out, it's growing into a real dangerous squad regarding guys who know their stuff and sharp betting minds and all that good stuff. And so I just want to, express gratitude to everybody who's part of that. If you're not in our Discord, if you're not a JSB Insider on YouTube or on Patreon, the link is pinned right here. It's a couple bucks a month. Sign up. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to ask. And let's get into this. Like we always do the first day of the week, we'll talk about our wins and losses, but we also have to take a look forward because there are a lot of fights coming up this week, all over the board. And best sport in the world, you know what I'm saying? Best sport. And what we're going to do is go over this real quick and just give our JSB Insiders some shout outs. This is the shout out section. Click that link that's pinned. I'm going to remove it so you can see. I know a lot of you guys are like me. Yesterday, you would have had the double screens. We were watching the Lester Martinez fight. It started a little bit later. And then on the big screen, we're watching the Ammo Williams and Carlos Adames fight. So, come on, dude. Best sport in the world, right? This was, there was a bit of criticism initially because we watched how the odds plummeted. But I want to talk about this one real quick. And shout out to Marksman. If you're part of our team, you would have recognized the name Corey Marksman. That's why, if you were watching the fights, I was kind of taken back to hear Sergio talk about he had never heard of Corey Marksman before. I go, "What are you talking about, dude?" It was just another sign that our group is as sharp as any group. I can't expect a guy like Sergio to know every fighter, even though he's a former fighter himself and an announcer. You would have thought he would have knew Marksman was. Marksman won us money in 2025 twice, two knockouts. Now, part of my job for you guys, and you guys probably do this on your own too, is on Monday, which is right now, you go to the sports betting apps and you look at the odds for the upcoming week. The beginning of last week when Marksman was at plus 140, I was like, the odds don't know who he is. They don't know this kid. This is a freaking steal. So I smashed it early. And the one thing about my bets, guys, if you're new to the game, is I not only show you who I'm taking, but I show you my receipts. So you guys, look, I placed this bet Tuesday, March 17th at 3:42. Tuesday, last Tuesday, right? So I'm not just telling you who to take. I'm in it with you guys. I think that matters. And you see, as the fight night got closer and closer, these odds plummeted. But I should mention, I'm not gonna just, because some people in the comments were like, "Johnny, you tanked the odds. Your team, everybody who smashed it, flip flop the odds." That's not my fault, man. I'm not gonna let a plus 140 pass by just for the sake of upsetting people that don't give a shit about me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. My first and foremost intention is for the team. Like, I'm not gonna. Oh, I don't. I hope the odds don't crash. So let's wait a couple days for all the other people who I don't know and they don't know me to get good odds. Hell no. if I smash early, I'm going to smash early for a reason, and then our whole squad smashed early, and then we got these odds. Come fight night, he was at $1.60, and he showed why this kid could fight. I'm interested to see how they're going to move him. He's marketable, says all the right things, good on the mic. I think probably should work on the gas tank. Look, I'm a coach. I'm a guy who always thinks a gas tank could be improved. So like, if I'm Corey Marksman, I'm working on the strength and conditioning. He knows how to box. He knows how to move. Weaponize the cardio. You weaponize the cardio, you're going to be in a good spot for the rest of your career. So we hit that. This was a sneaky live bet I did in the Discord. Austin Williams to be knocked down. We hit the Austin. I didn't. So this is kind of a benefit to be in the Discord. I didn't post this in our recap because I didn't give this one away. I talked about this all week in the live stream though, and I shared it in the Discord. I had a feeling Williams was going to get knocked down, and what better prop when it happens early? He got knocked down in the second, but I got to be honest with you, man, it was Marksman. Our safety net parlay hit. Our prop of the week hit. I mean, and also if you're new to this game, guys, every ticket I give you is going to be plus money. You know, why does that matter? Because it's what? Value. I'm not just giving you, 30% return. Everything's plus money that you get with me. So you're going to at least double your money. And then these were the 4 tickets. So we hit our safety net. We hit our UFC quad. The UFC quad played plus 161. Dog of the week plus 140. Prop of the week plus 180. Safety net plus 147. And we were a Lester Martinez knockout away from having the cherry on top. But, how the weekend started. The weekend didn't start good for us, guys. We had to come back. We had to come back from the dead. What do I always talk about with fighters? You want to cheer for fighters who could be the nail. Anybody's good being the hammer, but can you come back when the chips are down? And boy, we started down. We missed by a freaking mile on the Mick Conlon fight. I don't want to talk about it too much. It was one of our losses. We missed on the Mick Conlon prop. And then the 2 tickets we missed on, the UFC 3 tickets. The UFC long shot parlay, that was plus 6,000 odds. Those are more for fun. Quarter unit. I put that together with Nick from Breaking Bad on the live. Obviously, that one got dusted. It was a 3-leg plus 6,000. Why not sprinkle? Missed on the Mick Conlon knockout. He retired, and enjoy your retirement, kid. Good career. And then our long parlay got dusted. The very first leg got dusted. Abiselo Cotto got starched. He was a 10-1 favorite. And I'm going to take a lesson from that, though. I'm definitely taking a lesson from that. Broke one of my rules. He was only $1.07. Cotto was the A side. It was a homecoming fight. He was the younger guy. He was the bigger guy. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Like knockout of the year type shit. And so we start off on the raw. As soon as the weekend started, long parlay gets dusted. And Conlon loses a decision. And then the doubt starts. It's normal for doubt to start sneaking in. And full transparency for the boys, I'm sitting here in my house thinking like, shit, man, what if I pull a goose egg this weekend? Like, people are gonna hate me. Like, what if I do? Like, because we are only as good as our last bet. We are only as bad as our last bet, but we are only as good as our last bet. That's why I tell you every week I go into this with no ego. So losing those first 2 tickets, man, it was stressful. But then we cleaned up well. We ended up hitting everything except if less. I'm grateful for we would have had 5 tickets because we took Visoli on points and then Lester by knockout. But you can't win them all. I'm very grateful. I'm happy for the squad, especially seeing this. This is what I'm happy about. Shout out to Sent from Pet. This is what better marketing. When I teach younger entrepreneurs how to grow businesses and brands, whether it's on social media or personal trainers or strength coaches trying to get a gym running, I always talk about referrals are the best way to grow businesses. What better receipts are you're not going to have better receipts than referrals based on outcomes. So shout out to Sent from Pat. He says, first time in 21 years that I've done a subscription on a content creator, and I'm glad it was with this channel that gives us inside information. You know I share everything with you guys in the Discord. Picks and backed with study and general value. It's a team effort. It really is. Shout out for the support. Another banger weekend for the boxing bookies. Omar Bradbury's been killing the game. Omar is becoming one of our sharps in the Discord. So once you get to the Discord, check out the threads. Omar's always posted winners. Dude, the dude's a sharp. He's a savage. Teamwork. And then Yuko. This is a message Yuko sent to Omar, and this is what I'm talking about. Yuko sends to Omar. He goes, don't ever leave this group, my guy. I made profit all month long. My mind is blown. Y'all don't know how much y'all helping some people for real like me. Thanks. And thanks to everyone. And dude, it's a team effort. And you know, watching us grow like this, it's a community, dude. It's not about me. And that takes us to, that's 11 minutes in, that's 10 minutes in. We don't have to harp on this too much longer. We could talk about, I'm going to say what's up to the boys, and then we're going to, you know, have a little bit of a look ahead. We could talk about our losses. We could talk about our wins. Super chats. I'm going to get to those real quick. We got super chat now. Mosby, thanks, brother. We up. Thanks for the $5 super chat. Wherever you are in the world, guys, we're 11 minutes in. We're floating between 30 and 50 of you. Like this video as you come in. We got a big week ahead. Adamas Easy Money. Yeah, I mean, there were a lot of people online, though, picking ammo. Your Teddy Atlas picked ammo. I have receipts in my Discord. Last Tuesday, when I gave the prop, the Adamas on points prop, it's only normal to second guess and question your picks when people in my Discord are screenshotting Teddy Atlas's pick, and Atlas told all of his boys that ammo was going to win, and I'm like, fuck, man. What is Teddy seeing that I'm not seeing? And then I thought about it. And the one thing that you can never, one thing you guys must never forget about is biasness. And that's with anything. And I have to check my bias at the door when I'm giving you guys predictions. My rule of thumb is, you know, from my father, rest in peace, Pops, bet with your wallet, not with your heart. I'm not, you know, I'm not saying that Teddy picked ammo because he's close with the, I don't know why. But for him to pick ammo to beat Adamas, a real world-class champion like Carlos Adamas, I just had to think maybe it was personal. Maybe he knows ammo. Maybe he was, because I know a lot of people wanted ammo to win because of the feel-good story, and I was one of those. But I'm not going to bet money on him. He's an athlete who boxes. Carlos Adamas, pardon my French, is a motherfucker in the boxing ring. You better bring your hard hat, your lunch pail. You better be in shape. You better be switched on. You better have sparred those rounds. You better hit you know, you've done your road work. You better have the decades of experience. If you think you're going to go in there and beat Carlos Adamas, dude, what did I tell you? Timing. Timing over everything. How gorgeous. Even on that knockdown, dude, that double backhand. When do you ever see that? He knocked Ammo down with a double backhand, a 2-2 from the orthodox position. And he's very mobile. Ammo walks right in the first one, and he didn't even reload. It was like Adamas is here, boom, boom, and he walked right into the second one. It's one of my favorite combinations to drill on the heavy bag is that 2-2, the pop pop, because you have to have really good balance with the 2-2 from an orthodox position. You know, meaning your backhand for those who don't box is, you know, the more, you know, popular combo is the 1-2. You set the jab up, or even a 2-3-2 cross hook cross. You don't really ever see guys getting knockdowns with the pop pop, the 2-2. And Adamas landed that perfectly on the button because Ammo was coming in on the front, his front foot, out of position, off balance, recklessly, and it was a beautiful knockdown. And I gotta be honest with you, I made money on the knockdown prop, but I was sweating because I was like, oh shit, there's no way this kid's going the distance. But we always said, why did we pick Adamas? Guys, patterns here. Why did we pick Adamas on points? Because of how tough Ammo Williams is. Why did we pick Jaya Pataya on points? Because of how tough Brandon Glanton is. This is what I'm talking about. When you're looking at method of victories, have a deeper approach in your perspective of your reasoning. It's never all about the A side. you have to take into consideration the B side and the matchmaking. Is this guy durable? Is this guy tough? And so Ammo's tough as nails. No one's ever going to question his heart. I've always been a fan of Ammo Williams. I think, the matchmakers, I'd like to see him get some favors. Do him some, give him some home cooking. He's very marketable. People are going to come to see him, but I just think stylistically, you just got to be careful at the world level who you pair him with, because it's a product. You got to. He's taking some beatings, man, and I'd like to see him get some easy wins for the sake of his career, his family. This is a blood sport. We saw what happened. There was a girl fight, man. There's a girl in a medically induced coma as we speak. She got knocked out in a really tough knockout loss. It's like the third time of her being stopped. So we know what could happen. We know the consequences. Just because we bet against a fighter doesn't mean we dislike the fighter. And just because we bet on a fighter doesn't mean we're glazing the fighter. We are a community who likes to win money off of our research and knowledge. Another super chat. We got my guy, dude. Rest in peace to the haters, always coming through. JSB Academy. We are more than just obviously, and this is guys. This is why, if ever you want to offend me, reduce my work down to just my picks, because that's the only time I ever get offended, is when newer people come to the team and they just deduce everything I do. Where are your picks at? I didn't see this pick. It's like, bro, man, do you not watch any of our content? Do you not watch our live streams? Are you not doing your own film study? Are you not? If you're not going to put your own work in, if you're not going to, pitch into the effort in any way you can, whether it's tuning into the live stream, liking a video, giving your breakdown and analysis in our Discord. We got some savages in there now who are doing great statistical breakdowns. So it's not just me. And so if ever you want to just like offend me, man, where's your picks at? It's like, bro, man, this is so much more than just my picks. What we're doing here is this is a betting academy. I'm doing my best to try to teach strategies and build the community. So rest in peace to the haters, man. $25 super chat. I appreciate you. All the boys are coming in. All the we got King. What a night of boxing. J-Sai in the house. How are we, legend? Skeezy in the house. What's up, Skeezy? Adamas got it done every single round. Fought with a nice dude. I'm not trying to play like hindsight 2020, but you didn't have to watch too much tape to see how good Adamas is. You know what I'm saying? His one loss, Patrick Teixeira, was a world champion, if I'm not mistaken. And he was young. Dude, Adamas is crafty. You could see that seasoning. The weird thing is, let me show you something. The announcers, man, and maybe I'm being picky with this. The announcers yesterday, they kept calling Adamas the old bull and Ammo Williams the young lion. It's like, bro, Adamas is like 18 months older than Ammo. You're acting like Carlos Adamas is 48 years old. He just turned 31. Ammo's 29 going on 30. Why did that matter? That's significant. Stop trying to fake the funk on these narratives and create some sort of rhetoric. That was a fighter being outclassed. And everybody saw it coming. I mean, those who know saw it coming. That's why I'd like to sit down with Teddy and ask Teddy. I sent Teddy a message. I want to know, I just don't want to undermine his work. Hey, Teddy, I heard you picked Ammo. Why? So, if he was in my network, like if I was close to Teddy, like I'm like to Tommy or Paulie, I could do that. I'm just not close with him. I wonder what he saw in Ammo to outbox Adamas, dude. King, great weekend. Finally listened to you when I sent you the DM with the parlay. Over 6.5. Corey Marksman, Dyer Moneyline. You're the man this week. Over 5.5. Distance Ezra Taylor. You're the man, King of Fitness. Oh, we are up. We are up. That Jimmy Sains fight. Yeah, it could have dusted my safety net parlay. Marksman. What's up? What's up, PJ? Boys are tapping in. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Sanford, not too far from where I say. Yeah, went to the fight. Adamas punches were loud. It's harder than I thought. The thing about Adamas is his technique. You know what I'm saying? Like his punches don't. He doesn't. Carlos Adames doesn't need. And I saw this with. If you watch the Corey Marksman fight, the difference between Marksman and Guzman as well is that, and I'm not comparing Marksman to Adames, not yet. Maybe Marksman would have, he could have a storybook career, still young, look great, but really accurate punchers don't need a lot of space to throw their punches. You see some guys who are able to land shots and they don't need a lot of space. They're able to do it from different angles by changing their body, putting their body in different angles to land big shots. You look at a guy like Ammo needs a lot of space. It just shows you a lack of efficiency, a lack of technique. Adames does that really well. He's a very technical puncher. And is also, man, there's so much to like about Carlos Adames. That version of him last night was amazing to see. To watch him fight with a chip on his shoulder, to watch him fight on his front foot, to watch him fight with urgency. He has perpetual movement with his upper body, too. He's constantly giving you something to look at, constantly rolling. He's never seems like he's uncomfortable. Even he was taking shots. Ammo caught him a couple times with some big, big shots. And he still never looked uncomfortable, never out of place. Same thing with the Marksman fight. Guzman hit Marksman with a couple bombs as well, and Marksman never seemed out of depth. If anything, if we're being critical on a young kid, on a potential prospect / contender and Marksman, if we're being critical, we might have saw his output where his output went down, rightfully so. It was a high pace, high impact, competitive fought fight. I think if you get a Corey Marksman, and I'm not saying he was out, that kid weaponizes his cardio, and he's just going to be more confident because every time we watch Corey Marksman, he's leveling up. That's the best version we saw of him. He keeps getting better and better, and he's at this young age where when you go out and you become and you're Shakur Stevenson sparring partner, and you're leaning on Andre Ward for advice and career advice, you're just going to. This is how we get better in anything in life. If you're the smartest guy in the room, you need to leave rooms. This is advice with building businesses, building careers, whatever. You want to put yourself in situations, whether it's academically, physically, that you are learning from people, that you're not the best. And a lot of times the ego of men don't like to be vulnerable. Men don't want to put themselves around other people to where they're asking for help. I talk about it all the time. When I used to teach leadership and personal development for finance, corporate people in Vegas, one of our number one rules of leadership was it's okay to ask for help. Being vulnerable in that sense, admitting you don't know something, it's how you grow. And watching Marksman just continuously level up, and I'm being a little bit particular, bro, get a gas, have your gas tank. The goal should always be round 10, if you can. In a perfect world, it's super hard. Anyone who trains knows this. But if my gas tank could look like it did in round 1 and round 10, that should be the goal. That should be the mindset of how we train. Weaponize the cardio. You know how to fight. Your skills are coming along. The fight IQ is evolving with every fight. Weaponize your cardio. That's for any young fighters. I have some young fighters or might be on the stream. Some of my clients are Commonwealth fighters. Some of my clients are strength athletes. I always say it. Weaponize your cardio. Shout out to Mike Tyler. Mike Tyler, professional fighter, undefeated fighter. Exactly. Love from the UK. Flynn and Ezra for the underdog of the week. Mate, Mike, you know what kind of worries me about the Ezra Taylor fight is versus Hutch is the media, the back and forth. Watching them at that round table, I almost got to read that Ezra Taylor was just happy to be there. It was almost like Ezra Taylor was adhering to being the B side. Was like not supposed. He was like admitting that he wasn't supposed to win. Now I don't know how much of that was tongue in cheek or if he's sort of playing like chess with Willie. I don't see Hutch losing to Ezra. you sure you sure that was Kobe, fam? Guys, if you're that is, dude, the five that podcast, the Jeff Teague podcast, is hands down my favorite podcast. If you guys aren't watching the Jeff Teague podcast, god damn, what do they call it? 5:20 in the morning. This is King of Fitness is referring to Lamar Odom tweeting and telling a story that Kobe Bryant came to Lamar Odom in a dream recently and told Kobe that heaven ain't all that it's cracked up to be. He basically said that heaven ain't shit. And Jeff Teague and the boys were on the podcast. Dude, I probably watched that clip. It's a 3-minute clip. I probably watched that clip 30 times. So yeah, we're on the same frequency. Heaven ain't that deep. Heaven's overrated. You've been hitting with the UFC parlays. See, on the down low, PJ, UFC's been my bread and butter as well. I don't promote, I don't position myself on this channel as a UFC guy, but I've watched every fight since the UFC started. I know all the fighters. It's just business advice from one of my business mentors a couple years ago, and I've told this story in the past. Is he turned to me in 2022, 2023, and he was like, Johnny, he was like, because I used to interview all the fighters. Um, Hoist Gracie's in my first book. Stipe Miocic is in my second book. You know, I've interviewed, everyone from like Carlos Condit, Matt Brown, Michelle Watterson was on my podcast, the Karate Hottie. I used to interview the Ring Girls. Bruce Buffer's been on my podcast before. But the advice from my business, mentor at the time was like, Johnny, focus on boxing. He was like, not only from, a perspective of numbers internationally, it's a new sport. It's a fringe sport. It's not really mainstream throughout the world. You know what I mean? He was like, boxing's much older. And then he was like, the way you break down fights, this was him talking to me as like, he was my mate as well. He was like, on your social channels, just do just boxing. So I kind of took that advice in terms of the content I was putting out. And I still watch every fight. I know the fighters. And that's why, the UFC parlay in my tickets have become a mainstay for you boys, because you guys asked for them. 2 dogs for me, Keith Thurman. Good luck on that. That probably pays great value. I don't see Keith beating Seb though. Yeah, I have Vasily on points. Yeah, dude. Guys, is Lester that good? We need to have this chat. What are we overrating Lester Martinez? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not. This is no shade. People love Lester, and that crowd was awesome to see. I filmed it. I didn't post it, but that Pro Box crowd, man. After every round, having the Guatemala flat, that was, bro. That like brought a tear to my eye. It's everything that makes boxing the best sport on earth. Was watching that Lester Martinez fight and watching the crowd, dude. This is after each round. Like, the crowd was absolutely insane. Is Lester that dude? Are we gonna have this? I mean, he's only 5'8". 5'8". He fights at 168. 5'8". I didn't know he was that small. I'm 5'11". That's crazy. So I'm 5'11". I walk around at 185, between 180 and 185 pounds. Lester's 5'8". It's like maybe he could get down to 160. Maybe he's not in the right division. I don't know. I got some questions about Lester Martinez. I got questions about his punch selection. I got questions about his punch variance. How diverse is that offensive bag? You know what I mean? And people are probably gonna hate on me for that. I'm a Lester Martinez fan. I just think that at this stage of the game for us, it's important for us. We always say this is not an echo chamber, and that includes fighters. We should be able to dissect, if we're doing it in an educated way. I'm not hating on Lester Martinez. He did it, he won pretty much every round. But he goes through these laws as well throughout the round where I sometimes question his game plan. Like, what was his game plan? His game, like, he didn't really show me a high fight IQ yesterday. His game plan was like in the first few rounds to go out and try to stop this guy. So I don't know. I don't know where I stand with Lester. I mean, when it comes to being a potential world champion who defends and defends. He's a small 5'8", dude. You're 5'8". You should be able to make and he's not ripped. It's not like he's a 5'8" like a Mbili. He's not you. If I expect to see abs, I expect to see. I have high standards for my world champions. I want to see a fit athlete, dude, super athlete, somebody who's ticking all the boxes. Not, and I don't know him. I don't know what he's doing outside of the ring, but these are just my expectations for fighters. No boozing, fucking switched on, living like a samurai, and of course these are savages. These are, this is boxers are wild men. You know what I mean? It's best sport on earth. Neil White, yeah, Johnny, me and you caught that marksman plus money in the Discord. Yeah, man, the Discord slaps. I think that's what the young bucks say that the Discord slaps. Rob Palmer says this week, bro. I think every week is difficult. I think every week is difficult. Every week, it's not getting any. I never want to make you guys think that this shit is easy. You guys know this. I think every week presents the same problem. I used to think that we were archaeologists because we're on this dig and we're finding our wins. Now it's like, you know what we are? We're problem solvers. Every week presents this really difficult equation for us to figure out. Whether there's 20 fights, 10 fights, 30 fights. The secret to that is knowing who wins in those, which fights to avoid, which fights to play. And that's where it's going to be a constant learning curve. We're all learning, like, what fights to avoid. Oh, it's $1.07. Fuck that fight. Or there's no value here. Why would I play this fight? Or this guy's never been. The secret is problem solving. I look at the minute I go into a fight weekend and I'm confident and thinking I know everything. We got everything. Like, we know who's never. I guarantee that's when I'm going to stop doing this, or at least that's when we stop finding success. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's all about the mindset. But I look at every week as hard. Every week is hard. There's not one fight week where I'm like, oh shit, these are easy picks. Variables. And then we have to think about value. I'm not giving you guys any picks that aren't plus money as well. So it's not like, a four-legger that's paying 52% return, which is good for some people. We have some bettors who will message me, Johnny, find me a 50% return. All right, I could do that. But for the squad, for the team, we're carving out our own path of being known for being successful week in and week out with plus money tickets every week. Multiple plus money tickets. Which fights to pick and choose that we could sew up a parlay that gives the boys plus money. So whatever your wallet is, whatever your bankroll is, you are at least getting plus money. That's value. That's the value I'm talking about that I always talk about. Itama by stoppage. I'm gonna look at the odds in a second. It's like $1.27, Mosby. You know what I'm saying? Think about the stoppage props that didn't hit this week. What was Lester? $1.67 went the distance. What was Amari Jones? $1.70 went the distance with a small guy coming up. Amari's a very thoughtful young man. Amari's a very intelligent young man. This is a young man who's a former Olympian, 22, 23, published author. This is a young man who runs a foundation. He has a nonprofit organization. He has a clothing line. This is a very well-rounded, astute gentleman. He's one of these young fighters where if you had a young son, you'd be like, what do they call him? I saw one of the signs in the crowd, half hood, it said half hood, half gentleman, or half hood, something along these lines. But he fought like a very smart guy. He didn't have, if you're not, look, it's not fun for bettors when you're taking him by knockout. But if you could win a fight and not get touched, and the dude is that, he made a guy with over 30 pro fights look extremely basic. That's exciting for me to see a 23-year-old prospect in that division being able to do that. He's smart. Smart kid. But from the knockout prop value, bettors don't like that. Yeah, it's crazy work. Crazy work. I wish Ammo had the amateur pedigree because he got a lot. He does, man. Look, I think the group would all probably agree. We wish Ammo well. You know what I mean? There's certain fighters that become endearing to us as fans. He's one of them. You want to see the kid succeed. You want to see, like, you're almost in it with him. I didn't like watching him get beat up like that. I was worried about my pick, but there were a couple times in the 9th, in the 11th, where the camera, where you see Ammo backing up, and you see the camera, dude, shout out to Matchroom cameraman. Those cameras, dude, are literally in the ring, and you're like, it's crazy. You could see, like, the camera's like, it seems like this far away from Ammo's face, and you see the blood coming out of his mouth, and you see the shell shock look of his eyes, and he doesn't want to quit, but he's just getting beat. It was kind of hard to watch. It was kind of hard to watch because then you're thinking about brain damage and CTE and stuff like that, and that how much this kid wants it. He's gonna go out on a shield. But yeah, it's fair to say there's not many Ammo haters out there. And if they are, they're exactly just that, a hater. Rest in peace. What's up, good? Hell of a night. Thank you, man. We're out here good. Salute, big parlay in the house. Bakuli got a... Yeah. What's up, Kiza? Bakuli got a nasty 2-2. Want to see him come back. No, you're right. Good eye. You don't see it a lot, though, right? And when you see it, it's noticeable. I love throwing it. I've never thrown it in a street fight. And I'll throw it in sparring if I'm playing with a guy. But I like throwing it in shadow. But if you don't shadow it, if you don't drill that, you're not going to throw it. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be comfortable enough to move in and out and use your feet. But boom, boom, you got to be coming forward. Dude, the timing on that 2-2 was absolutely beautiful. It was a thing. It was like it was a gun, and it was right next to Ammo. It was like pop, 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 pop. It was beautiful, man. Adamas has been throwing that 2-2 since he was a kid. Great weekend of boxing. Ammo's a tough guy. I agree. What's up, D? Demon? Adamas lets Ammo know there's levels to this good, even work. He's gonna, you know what? Ammo's gonna take some lessons. He got taught. Carlos Adamas was teaching lessons last night. Ammo's gonna take a lot from that fight. He is. He's gonna take a lot about. I bet how much he wants to actually get hit. Situations of where he can and can't get hit. Not a lot of clinching. Not Adamas wouldn't allow it. There was a lot of punching in those close proximities, close quarters. I did see, for how much Ammo got hit, he was a little bit more defensively responsible with his guard too. And he did manage his gas tank. It's not like, the game plan was evident in round one, but that was it. And it was his best round. And then once he got knocked down, it was kind of akin to, when we saw Brian Norman Jr. get dropped early, or when, against Dev, or when Ryan got dropped early against Raleigh, it changes the whole landscape of the fight. You get dropped early, mate, it changes a lot. So shout out to all three of those young men, Ryan, BNJ, and Ammo, for going the distance, because it's tough to come back. And this is why it's so exciting when you see fights like Mick Conlon versus Lee Wood. A guy gets dropped nasty early and then looks like he's out, and then he comes back and stops the other guy late. It's like, this is what legends are made of. Good hit on Marshman. Win Santiago. Appreciate the super chat. Boys coming in for the boys are coming in for your boy. I appreciate it, man. However you can help. Guys, 60 to 80 in this live stream. We got a lot of work to do this week. I'm going to be doing a multiple Statstone live videos. Obviously, we got the big one with Seb Fandor and Keith Thurman. Moses is fighting. Both cards have a lot of good fights on it. There's a couple other cards we want to talk about. I'm pretty sure, isn't Israel Adesanya fighting Joe Pyfer this weekend? There's a lot of fights to talk about. However you can support the channel, like this video, subscribe, get in the Discord. The link is pinned. We're approaching 450 JSB insiders. Exciting times with the squad. What's up, Jay? Surprised how bad Conlon looked. I thought he had a few fights left. So did I. I'm not going to say he lost that fight. That was a hard watch. I thought for sure Conlon would get the decision. For sure, I thought he'd get the decision. If you just look at the posturing, the optics of the fight, where the fight took place, Conlon's damage on his face happened from a headbutt. One might have been from a punch, but what was Walsh really doing? Walsh fought one of the boys on ESBR. Shout out to those boys, the UK boys. One of those boys on ESBR called it he said Kevin Walsh should be disgusted with himself. A humiliating performance. I was like, damn. And he didn't do it clown. He did it like in a disgusted, pompous British way. I was like, damn, that sounds crazier than saying that dude sucks. He should be disgusted with that performance. God, that boy, people were salty about that. Johnny, what do you think about this? Is the play? Look, this is Chaz. This is the play. This is the play I was looking at. I was looking at Moses against Franklin on points. You know, Moses had a slight little injury. Franklin's a true blue dude. Franklin's been in there with the boys. Franklin knows how to survive. Franklin's only 32 years old. He got craft to his game. I ain't saying Franklin's gonna win, but I mean, I think that's probably the play right now. If I lock that in, I'll let you know. And we're seeing things trending this way. When we're looking at method of victories, when you're looking at a method of victory, it's always important not to just look at the A side. You got to look at the other side, other coin. And this is played out for us. And also when you're taking a value play like this, you can't be too. You're kind of, I don't want to say you're playing with house money, but when it hits, you feel great. And if it doesn't hit, it's not like, you know what sucks is when you take a $1.07 favorite on a long parlay and he gets knocked out. That fucking sucks. Sorry for swearing. That happened to me this week. Abigail Cotto. That sucks. You know what doesn't suck? If I take a guy at plus 330 to win on points and he knocks the dude out. It doesn't suck. So you have to take that in consideration too. Darwin, the Discord is important. Telling the picks. You still need to know how bet based upon your funds. I've definitely become strategy. It's good to hear, Darwin. Strategy is everything. Facts, Johnny. Weaponized cardio. 100%. That's with all of us, guys. Guys, wherever you are in the world, like it's 10:40 a.m. I don't expect you guys to train as much as I train. I'm a coach. I do this for a living. I built a gym in my house. You know what I mean? And I train with my clients. So I've already trained. By now, I've trained twice. I'll train 2 more times today. I'll be 44 in April. I'm saying this because my birthday's coming up. My mindset: weaponize your cardio. Don't let anyone outwork you. If you need to run or need to run towards something or rescue someone, have the gas tank to do it. If you need the strength to lift something off of someone because they're in danger, have the strength to do it. If you need the mind to be able to outthink your way out of a bad situation, have the mind to do it. Work on these things. I train. I live like my lifestyle the way I do because I look at life as a game, and it's like I want to be best presented in this game when shit goes downhill, because it goes downhill. It's not all up. We up, but it's not always up. You guys know that. Nathan Heaney over Warburton. I've covered Jerome Warburton on the channel before. Very basic guy. Very basic. I got to watch Heaney. Warburton's all determination, though. You know, hats off to Warburton. We covered his last fight where it was his biggest step up. He does really good at the club level, club level. And then, I think we covered him when he was fighting for the Commonwealth belt, and he just got outclassed. And so I'm not too familiar. I got to check Nathan Heaney. Heaney seems probably like the stronger guy. Yo-Yo versus Terrell Gachet goes the distance. Will probably be plus money. We'll have a look at that, Magana. Good eye. That's a fight everybody's been talking about. Yo-Yo versus Gachet. Sub Johnny McConnell, thanks for the memories in your prime. Yeah, he was. Defeat retirement. He did. I love that. I love his message, man. I love McConnell. It kind of brought a tear to my eye. He wrote his farewell to his fans, fighters, friends, family. And he had that piece in his farewell where he talked about, enjoy every minute of it because before you know it, it's gone. That's life too. It's not just a career, guys. That's life. Life flies by. It's like that. So enjoy. Like, life is play. If you're stressing out about something, understand that it's not like it's normal to stress, but time is ticking, guys. We gotta do our best to enjoy it. Lester's not all that. He's all right. Lester to me seems like he's kind of just. He doesn't. I don't know if he's world class. He doesn't have another gear. Gachet never been stopped, but is 38. Yenli is a beast, but unproven. I know. It's a tough one. Rob Palmer, Super Chat. The Super Chat boys coming in. You guys are beasts. Guys, we're flowing between 60 and 80 in the chat. Give me a like. Let me know how you're doing. Let's get it. Crispy Chris Tellez is back this weekend. How do you feel about that fight, mate? We're damn 40. You guys are the best. 45 minutes just flew. I was like, I thought we've been off for 20. I'm gonna pull the odds up in a second. What's up, Chris? My favorite segment is starting to be your dog of the week. I'll definitely be taking it as early as I can now. Yeah, we're on a quite a streak for the dogs. The dogs have barked at least 6 weeks in a row, which sounds crazy. At least 6 weeks. We could easily look at the receipts. I don't like looking too far in the past though. I like keeping, last week happened. Boom. We gotta stay focused. Appreciate your support, Christos. I'm gonna bring up the odds now. Let's see what we're dealing with here real quick. Let me remove that. Okay. All right, so we'll just do a quick scroll down of this. Alex Murphy, Josh Holmes, Michael Gomez versus Jordan Flynn. These UK fights. Nathan Heaney versus Warburton. Thompson versus Pauls. Is that fight still on? One of these fights got canceled. Good odds. Hutch versus Ezra. Gallegos versus Julian Gonzalez. Moses versus. Let's check out Moses real quick. I mean, Moses on points at plus 330. We're talking about value here. Let's see something real quick. Okay, so Moses 13-11 knockouts. If you guys have never seen him, he's a really big, fun, young, athletic, crack southpaw. 21 years old. He only has 26 pro rounds, guys. He only has 26 pro rounds. That's always going to be a caution with a young heavyweight. Jermaine Franklin, 24-2, never been stopped. 149 pro rounds. 32-year-old, 6'3". Dude, Franklin could box, man. Been in there, went the distance. Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, beat Pavel Sauer. The Dichko fight. No, Franklin didn't look that good in the Dichko fight, did he? I remember. I don't know, man. What's his gas? I don't know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. It's like, yeah, the fights in the UK, they're bringing Franklin over to get starched. Conventional wisdom would be Moses by stoppage. And it's always risky. It's always risky taking points with a heavyweight who's like a heavyweight who carries a lot of weight. He seems motivated though. Did you guys watch there's like an 8-minute video on DAZN of Franklin's camp? He looks motivated. He's around the right people. Moses is, I don't know. I'll let you know. The odds are good. The odds are enticing. Yanis Tellez is back. I don't know how much trust I got in him, man. Respect to Ammo, though. Do you think I don't know at this stage of the game. I mean, getting better at this stage, what can get better is the knowledge of the ring. So you could always get better with your fight IQ, your decision making, your strategy. You could get better with your situational boxing. From a skill perspective, his elbows didn't look as wide as they normally do. He's sometimes like out here. He was more here, so that technically we saw an improvement there. The things that it's impossible at this stage of the game for him to catch up on is the timing. The timing, the technique of the timing, the understanding of positioning. where you're safe, where you're not, because all of that comes with the experience. You can't take a class on how to be experienced. You know how you take a class of how to become more experienced? You get your ass beat for 12 rounds against world champion, and you hope to God you didn't take too much damage. So it's just it's all the little things at the highest level that you can only gain from experience, a lifelong of boxing, that it's so tough to make. It's why it's very rare to see a guy come in late without amateur experience and put together a Hall of Fame career. You don't see it. I think like I said, matchmaking. From here on out for Ammo, if you're an Ammo fan, you just hope that there's some favorable matchmaking. Because it'd be fun to see him there with like slugger, another person, somebody who'd slug it out with him. Somebody doesn't have to worry about countering him all the time. At 160 pounds, not a deep division, but I mean, how would he fare against Elam Hanalei? Even though Janibek, you know, I think he would fare better than he did against Carlos. Like Ammo versus Janibek. I mean, I think he would put up a better, like he would look a little bit better against Janibek, even though Janibek's suspended for steroids. These cats out here, boy. I think Lara outboxes him even at 50. Arislandi Lara would be able to beat Ammo even when he's 50 based off of Lara's ability to box. Janibek, though, he's good. We just don't know how good he is yet. So would you? I've seen Janibek fight with ego before. I think that Ammo might be able to drag Janibek in his style of fight, get him to punch with him. Could be exciting. Those are the champions at 60. And maybe you put him up against guys like on the come up. How would Ammo do against like an Aaron McKenna? I don't know. I rate McKenna, but is McKenna as good as his handlers think he is? We don't know. We want to see Aaron McKenna more active. And no offense to the Brits, the British fighters, when they level up, once they start going international, you don't know how good somebody is until they level up. So I don't know what's next for Emma Williams. That's his second fight in what, 3 months, 2 fight camps in 3. But I probably would take a year off. That sounds crazy. He took a lot of shots. He didn't go out cold, but he got beat up. He got that ass beat. At least take 6 months off. I would not go train. I'd go on holiday. I'd go spend time with his family. I know he has a young family. He needs, recover, put your feet up a bit, and then he does have to make some decisions. He's marketable though. People will tune into an Ammo Williams fight. So 2 boxing cards this week. Mendoza may be a dog. Hernandez decision. Haven't done much studying, but Kyron is a tough guy, but so is Gachet. Gachet will trade. Have a plan. I don't know, man. You think Mendoza's live? Wow. I don't know, man. I just saw Mendoza just fought in Tijuana in like a 6-rounder. You think he beats? He's fighting Tejas, right? People weren't happy with Tejas, man. That was the Bas Barral fight? Why do I always confuse him with? I do this every time when we talk about Yannis Tejas. I do this every time. No, it is the Bas. Yeah, it was the Bas. You go to Google, you type in Yannis Tejas. a Bas Barral comes up. He fought Kendo Castaneda. Wasn't that in TJ? No, he fought him in Orlando. Mendoza fought everyone. Yeah, Kendo at this stage of the game. We saw Mendoza lose to Zoo, Boachuk. He stopped a guy in Chihuahua, a 12-10 guy. I don't know, man. I think Tejas should be able to get him out of there. We'll see. I don't know where my money's at yet. Franklin to go to the distance, but yeah, look at the boys, man. You guys are beasts. You guys are beasts. It's Sunday in America, and the boys are already like, "Let's get it, let's get." I like that about the squad, man. We don't. Why are we going to celebrate? We don't need celebration. We'll talk about it for about 20 minutes, and then we move on. Ammo versus Denny, Tyler Denny. Different divisions. Tyler Denny fights at 154, or does he fight at 160? Did he fight littered? Were they fighting at 160 or 54? No, at 160. I think Ammo dog. I could see Ammo's power being too much for Denny. Ammo could crack. Yeah, bro. We put Ammo at the gate. He called. I mean, I dude, you could build a card around that kid though. 29, who knows? You put him in some nice favorable matchups, boy. He gets a couple knockouts. So we got one of shout out to Skills. So Robert Skills in our Discord, MMA sharp. He's a boxer. He boxes. Trains, he's friends with Kevin Newman. He's been sharing me messages on Instagram, insider info between him and Kevin Newman about this. He's high on Kevin Newman. He thinks that Kevin Newman is an overlooked guy. He thinks that at 32 years old, Kevin Newman, it's now or never, and he doesn't really rate Elijah Garcia that well. I I don't know where I stand on this. I like I'm not as hard as on Elijah as a lot of you guys are, just for the sake of just because he's so young. Like the boxing fans are hard on Elijah. You have a lot of hype. You're young. You win a close fight. You win a decision. People think you lost. You're gonna get some negativity. The Kyron Davis fight, the Terrell Gausha fight was super close. I mean, wins over Resendez. Six-foot southpaw. What's Elijah? He's still in his early 20s. He's still developing. $22 years old. The kid's young. He's a baby. 22. Yeah, he has a lot of time to grow, man. He'll be 23 in April. We'll see. Kevin Newman. Let's see Kevin Newman's best win. (18-3), 34 years old, 6', 6'1", orthodox. Nice little win streak. I like that. He loses 2 to Gino Plana and Manny Gallegos, and then wins 7 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 7 in a row. Drew his first fight. I don't know. I don't know yet. Let's see the odds. I know, man. People like Terrell Gausha is a good fighter. I think Elijah Garcia is good, dude. I think he's way better than people think he is. Or I think people hate on him. I don't know how. I have to watch tape on Kevin Newman. I have to see what I'm dealing with. I don't know what I'm dealing with. I don't remember watching him fight his last fight. What are the odds? All right, I know a lot of people are jumping on Newman. Look. If my instinct and my intuition was saying do it, I would tell you that. I don't know how I feel on this fight. I'm currently 70-30 Elijah. I need to watch Kevin Newman. I'll let you know. I think Franklin's going the distance. I'm watching tape on the job. Yeah, that was 5 years ago, though. Keep in mind. I think Ammo ends up Zuffa versus Suri Boachek. Not a bad shout. That's a fun fight. That's a fun fight. That's a good fight. That would be, bro, and that, Sari Belichick, Ammo Williams is a fun fight. Would you say that Franklin can last all rounds against Tuama if he can last as long as this is the question. And this is why this is an interesting topic. And this is why money's going to be coming in on points. Look, if you're going to take Moses on points, don't parlay it with anything. Just stand alone. We got some. So it's 2023, so not 2021. So it was 3 years ago. Not that long ago. Boots versus Adames. I mean, Boots has only fought 6 minutes at 154. Man, slow down a bit on this, right? What? Boots stopped Usman Lima in what, 3.5 minutes? Or was it the first round? That was his first fight at 54. I don't see him going. I think Boots is fighting Xander Zayas next in April or in May. So don't be shocked if they go live with this one, John. What I've been told is the contracts are signed for Jaron Ennis versus Xander Zayas. That's all I'm hearing. I've heard it for the last 48 hours. Top dog. Top dog, you could post your slips in our Discord. So go to the Discord, go to the winning slip section. That's where you can post your winning slips. If the power translates, Boots may stop Adames. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think you guys are getting a bit above your Boots. I don't think Boots would fight Adames. And right now, I probably would take Adames. Dude, once again, I said this last week. Carlos Adames is the most underrated champion. He's so good. He does everything good. He's defensively responsible. He could be an offensive juggernaut. He hides his punches. He throws the jab. He can work the body. His body punching was crazy. Perpetual movement with his angles. Dude, I don't know, man. Right now, what have you done for me lately? I would take Adames over Boots. Right now. I mean, I'm a fan of Boots. He fought 3 minutes at 154. There's a 147 guy. Put some respect on Adames' name. Jesus. Boots isn't even a world champion. Let's see how Boots does against Xander. Look, I'm at least going to be consistent with my approach. I always tell you guys, I am not the one to ordain somebody the next coming. If you haven't I need to see more, baby. Boots is that dude. Big fan. One of my favorite fighters to watch. But give him some time. We need to see more. Let's see him fight, baby. I've seen Adames. Adames is that dude. Adames beat the piss out of Shiraz. 8-4. I was being nice when I said 7-5. Rewatch that fight. 8-4. Adames presents a lot of issues on both sides of the plate. You know what I mean? If you're a big puncher, he's going to be able to negate that. If you're a counter boxer, you better be able to have your timing on point. If you think you're going to bully him, dude, by fight night, even though he fights at 160, by fight night, Adames is probably 175. He poses a lot of problems, dude. Long arms, smart, talented, great timing. Old school timing. Old school fighter, dude. He's so fun to watch. You got guys, we know about these patterns, that UK stoppage. All right, guys, I got to lock it up. I appreciate everybody. Group hug. We're going to be going live twice a day, every day for the rest of the week. You guys got some Stats Don't Lie videos coming. You obviously got some tickets coming. Pay attention to Patreon. Pay attention to the Discord. Join our growing group. I woke up today. We were at 441 JSB Insiders, our professional betting academy. That link is pinned in the comment section below. And I will see you guys in the next one.